how do I track the expiration date of my inventory items in QuickBooks? So this is a question I get quite often in my YouTube channel, in emails, in Facebook direct messages, in all the places where I post videos. And the short answer is it's not possible. QuickBooks does not have a built-in feature for managing expiration dates for inventory. Now I'm going to tell you a workaround. Before I do that, let me tell you the context. So if you're dealing with pharmaceuticals, food, perishables, any type of products that essentially have a date of batch, a date of creation, a date of cultivation, a date of acquisition, generally also have a date of expiration, right? So when the product will be bad or when the product, you're not allowed to sell it anymore. Sometimes, depending on the industry, you might be run by a regulatory agency that forces you to track these expiration dates in your inventory. In other cases, it's just a management tool wanting to sell the old stuff first before you sell the new stuff, just because you don't want to have that many old things in your inventory. So for whatever reason, I'm going to show you how you can essentially trick QuickBooks into thinking that it can in fact track expiration dates in it. Now, it's only for QuickBooks Enterprise Platinum Edition. So if you're working with QuickBooks Pro, QuickBooks Premier, QuickBooks Online, none of this stuff is going to work. You have to be on QuickBooks Enterprise Platinum Edition. And if you don't have that, and if you want to upgrade to that, call my office and we'll set you up with that. We are resellers, so we can help you get that. So first step, assuming you already have QuickBooks Enterprise Platinum Edition, you're going to click on the Edit menu. Then you're going to go into Preferences. Then you're going to click on the Items and Inventory tab on the left-hand side of the Preferences window. Then you're going to click onto Company Preferences. Once you're in Company Preferences, you're going to click on Advanced Inventory Settings. If you don't see that in there, or if it's grayed out, you don't have QuickBooks Enterprise Platinum Edition, so then you're going to have to upgrade to that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Advanced Inventory Settings. Then I'm going to click on the Serial Lot Number tab in the top of the screen, and I'm going to click the little checkbox that it says Enable Lot and Serial Numbers. So when I click on Enable Lot and Serial Numbers, I have to make sure that Enable Lot Numbers, or the Lot Numbers radio button, is turned on. Once I do that, I'm going to click on if lot numbers are blank. I can choose whether I want to be warned that the lot number is missing or not. That's really up to you. I'm going to put it on Warn Me, and then I'm going to click on OK. There you go. That would take care of the first setting. Second setting is, and this is more of a personal preference of mine, into the List menu and List Items or Item List, I like to create a custom field for those items that are going to be tracked for an expiration item. So for example, I have two items here, a 32-ounce chocolate milk carton and a 64-ounce chocolate milk carton. So don't pay attention to the other items in the file, just these two. So I'm going to right click on one of them, and I'm going to click on Edit Item. Then I'm going to click on Custom Fields, and then I'm going to create a new custom field here where it says Define Fields. I'm going to create a custom field called Expires. So I'm going to call it Expires YN question mark. So I'm just giving it a free form label. Then I'm going to click on the checkbox that says Use. Then under what kind of data, I'm going to click on Edit Multiple Choice List, and I'm going to give the user two choices, either a Y or an N. Essentially, I want to track which items essentially could expire or I must track expirations for. I'm going to uncheck Allow Users to Enter their own text and then click OK. Okay. Then I'm going to click on Required on List to make sure that every time I create a new, let's just say an inventory and an assembly item, you must select whether or not this item is perishable or we're going to track expiration on it. So I'm going to click OK and OK. Now that's not necessary. I do it just to be able to create reports in the future and to filter the items when I'm trying to narrow down those type of items. So I'm going to click OK. So this is just a regular inventory item called 32-ounce chocolate milk carton. I don't have to do anything else to the item itself. That custom field is obviously totally optional. I got my cost, I got my sales price, income account, cost of goods sold account. None of that stuff changes. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. I'm going to go to the other item, right click and click on edit. Do the exact same thing. Go to custom fields. Make sure that I tell it, yes, it expires, or no, it doesn't expire. And I'll click OK and then OK. Now, why that's useful? If I ever go to reports, list, and for example, item listing, I have all the items of all my inventory in my list. If I wanted to just see those two, I go to customize report, filter, and I search here for expires, select that and type Y and then hit OK. And then I can narrow down those two. So this is for reporting purposes. So I'm able to find the information faster. Anyway, so I got my items set up. I marked them that they are expirable, or that I will be tracking expiration dates for reporting purposes. I'm good to go. Now let's go ahead and create a couple of bills so I can bring the inventory into stock. So I'm going to start with the first bill, and I'm going to create this bill on November. Let's do September 1st, 2019. I'm going to select one of my vendors here. So I got Milk Corp of Florida, and I'm going to go into items and bring the two items that I want to bring in. So let's say I'm going to buy 64-ounce milk from this vendor, and I'm going to buy 2,500 units at $1.12. And under lot number, this is where I'm going to put the expiration date. And I'm tricking QuickBooks into thinking that lot numbers is for expiration dates. So I'm going to put it in a very specific way. I'm going to start with the year, 2019. Then I'm going to put a hyphen. Then I'm going to put the month. So let's say this batch of 2,500 expires on September 30th. So I'm going to put 09 and then 30. Okay. And let's say from the same vendor, from the same bill, I'm going to receive a different batch, a batch of 1,500 at a dollar, let's say 26, because for whatever reason, these ones that expire later on are more expensive. That could be possible or maybe not. I mean, it depends on the business case. So let's say this expire October 15th. So I'm going to do 2019-10 or -10-15. So notice how I'm putting the lot numbers. I'm doing it this way because I want to be able, when I look at reports, I want to be able to sort by lot number if I want to, and because these are text fields, and if I do any sort of numerical sorting, it will show me, for example, January, then October, then November, then December, and then February, because it goes by numerical text sorting. So because I want the year, the month, and the day to be the sequential order in any sort of report listing, that's why I'm doing the lot number this way. Now, if in addition to expiration, you also need to track lot numbers, then unfortunately, I don't have a way to track both of these things separately. So if you wanted to do it in addition to that, what you will do is you're going to add a underscore or some sort of character separating your lot number from your your expiration date from your lot number, and then you go ahead and add whatever lot number nomenclature you want to add. So if you want to track both, you have to put date first, always date first, and lot number second. For the time being, I'm not using any actual lot numbers. I'm just going to do expiration dates. I'm just going to leave the expiration dates, and that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and click on save. I'm going to click on save and new and create another bill, let's say for a different vendor. So I'm going to create another bill for this vendor. And let's say that this happened on October 1st, 2019. And then I'm going to bring a couple of items here. So let's bring that chocolate milk. Okay, that chocolate milk. And let's say I'm receiving 1750 of this unit at 75 cents a pop. And these expire, let's say November 20th. So I'll do 2019-11-20. Okay, and let's say I'm also getting a different batch. Let's say I'm getting 1250, and these are going to be a bit more expensive. So let's say they're going to be 89 cents. And these are going to expire, let's say, December 1st. So 2019-12-01. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and click on save. I'm going to create one more bill combined just so you can kind of see more examples of this. So let's say October 5th, 2019. I'm going to pick, let's say, 164 ounce. Let's say I'm going to bring 1,000 of these for $1.08. And these expire 2019-11-12. 27, and then I'll bring some choco milk, let's say 2,000 units at 0.81, and I'm doing that 2019, 11, 30th. Perfect. So I have enough bills in the system to create, let me select the vendor here. I have enough bills in the system to create sort of real world, right? A bunch of bills, a bunch of inventory being received in different times of the year and that sort of thing. So I'm going to go into reports. I'm going to go into inventory. Then I'm going to go into inventory valuation summary. I'm going to pick here all dates just so we can see all the transactions, and notice that we have 5,000 of each. So it's a nice round number. I used multiple instances to get there, and there's the average cost across all the different lots and expirations that I had. So those are all the things that I have in stock at the moment. Now, if I go to reports, inventory, and I click on lot numbers in stock, it's going to take me to a report that shows me the items that have lot numbers in stock, and you can see across every item, you're going to see all the lot numbers with commas separating them. This report's not very useful, but if I actually click on any of those lot numbers, double click, it gives me a pop-up menu that shows me how many of each lot I essentially have. So as long as I have multiple lot numbers, I'm going to see this box and multiple lot numbers across. There isn't a report that shows me that stuff inside QuickBooks. I'm going to show you how to build that report in Excel manually afterwards. But for the time being, let's just say this is the only way to see how many of each item you have in stock per lot. Another way of seeing it is to go into inventory, inventory center, and then clicking on the item that you want to see your lot numbers for, and then scroll down on the top header where you can see some of the reports. And it says here, recall information. You can click on quantity on hand by lot number, and it's going to pop up the window that shows me how many of each of these lots I have in stock for that particular unit, which I happen to have 5,000 in total for at the moment. Okay, perfect. So let me just escape out of that. Now what I'll do is I'm going to create a couple of invoices to have some movement into that item. So I'm going to pick a couple of customers here at random, and I'm going to go ahead and sell them some items. So let me do a couple of invoices here. Let's say this one happened on November 10th, 2019. And let's say I'm going to sell them a 64-ounce bottle. Actually, let's do this to make sure to avoid any complexity here. I'm going to go ahead and do this in November. So November 30th, 2019, because I don't want to create a date conflict in this case. So there's my item. And let's say to this person, we sold 500 of, and I get a drop down where it says lot number, and I can pick which lot number I'm going to sell them from. So this particular one, I'm going to sell them from, let's say, the lot number that expires on November 27th. Let me pull this back a little bit so it makes a bit more sense. So I'm going to make this in October. So I'm going to sell this person a 500 from this lot, and let's say this is $1.89 each. So I'm going to go ahead and click on save, and then I'm going to go to save and new, and I'm going to pick a different customer here. I'll pick the item. Again, I'm going to pick the same item, 64-ounce milk carton, and I'm going to sell a person, let's say, from this lot. Let's roll this back to, let's say, September 15th, 2019, and we're going to sell him from this lot. Let's sell him 725, and this would be for $1.74. So basically, I'm creating more invoices to add some movement to here, and then I'm going to pick the other product here, the chocolate milk product, and I'm going to sell them, let's say, from this batch. So I'm going to sell them, let's say, 1,000 from this batch at $1.52. Then I'm going to click on save and new, and I'll just do one more invoice just for the heck of it, so we have a lot of movement going on here. And let me hit cancel here, and then I'm going to pick the 32-ounce chocolate milk carton, and let's sell them from the November 20th, right? So let's say on October 30th, 2019, I went ahead and I sold this person 2,140 units of this lot number at $1.50. So I'm going to go ahead and click on save and close. And notice that I have a warnings message saying I don't have enough quantity in stock to sell that lot number. So unfortunately, I have to enter the amount first before the warning message comes out. If I didn't check that lot number first, I really don't know how many I have in stock. So in this particular case, by reading this message, what I'll do is I'm gonna go ahead and change the amount to maybe 750. Okay, and then I'm gonna sell another from the difference. So the difference between 2140 and 750 is 1390, and then I'll sell from the next lot, which will be this one. So notice I'm selling the maximum amount for one lot and the next amount for the next lot. So let's see if we get any errors in here. Click save. Okay, no errors. So I definitely had some more in stock from that lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on save and close, and now I should have some sort of movement going on with inventories I received with one lot number / expiration date and some that I've sold. Now, a quick report I can see in QuickBooks for that is click on reports, custom reports, transaction detail report. Then I'm going to click on dates, all, and then under filters, I'm going to go to lot number, and then I'm going to click on no blanks. Basically what I'm telling is report every single transaction that doesn't have blank in the lot number. So essentially it will be all transactions with lot numbers, and I'll click on OK. And then here's basically a history of all the bills and invoices I have done for each lot. Now, what I can do in addition to this is go to customize report and enable quantity. So I'm going to turn that on. That's important. And then I'm going to enable lot and turn that on. So those are the two fields that are missing from the standard detail report. I'll click on OK, and that's going to give me the information that I'm looking for. I'm going to go ahead and remove balance, remove credit, remove debit, remove split. I'm actually collapsing all these things, all these accounts into themselves. Okay, memo, and there you go. Notice that, for example, there's a whole bunch of lines with the same dollar amount repeating themselves. There's one filter I'm missing here, which is inventory assets. So I'm going to click on customize report, filters, and then under account, I'm going to click inventory assets. So I only show transactions that are affecting my inventory. So now now that I have this information, I can collapse my inventory asset account. I can even get rid of name and transaction number. And this is really all I need. I got a bill at that date, bringing in so many of this unit. I'm actually missing the item number. So let's go to customize report and type item. So that would have been valuable. And then click OK. So now I got all my items, purchases, and sales by lot number. I can go to total by in this case and click on item detail, right? And then it will group them by item. So now I essentially have a report that tells me everything that's going on with every item, purchases, and sales with the lot number. Now, this doesn't tell me total yet, which is something that we need. We need to know how many of each batch expiration date we have in stock. So I'm going to show you how to build that. For now, I'm going to memorize this report, and I'm going to call it transactions with lot/expiration dates. Okay, because we're using lot numbers as a workaround to expiration dates. I'll click on OK. And now I officially have this report saved. If I ever want to go back and pull it, I go to reports, memorize reports, and I select transactions with lot expiration dates, and there you go. Now, in order to get this report in a summary format, so I know how many of each items I have in stock per lot, I'm gonna have to get this into Excel and create a pivot table. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. Before I do that, let me show you the limitations that QuickBooks has. When I run a regular report, reports, inventory stock status by item, it's going to give me the total quantity on hand for each of those two items. You can see that that's really clear there, but it's not going to tell me per lot. If I double click on it, I can look at a history of all of them, but again, I don't get a summary per lot. So at this point, I don't know how many I have of each of these lots. If I wanted that, I would have to go into inventory center, click on each item. Let me maximize this and come down here to where it says quantity on hand by lot number. And then at that point, I'll be able to know how much I have in each lot. That's something that makes me a bit mad, but this is a limitation that we have in the QuickBooks world. Anyway, so to get this into Excel, what we're going to do is we're going to take out total by, and we're going to put it total only. So we're going to get back into this report. And then essentially we're going to export this into Excel and we're going to summarize it. So I'm going to click on Excel, create new worksheet. Okay, I'm going to click on advanced real quick because I don't want to include the export guide. And I want to do auto fit. This is all good. Yeah, I can do that. This is all good. And I'll click OK. So then export. So I just wanted to remove that little guide. It's a QuickBooks export thing. So once it's exported, I have a report that looks like this in Excel. And let me click on view and zoom it in a little bit so you can see all the information. There we go. I'm going to get rid of the first two columns because that's information I don't need. And then I'm going to get rid of this blank line that's here and hit delete. So now I have a clean table with the information that I want. Essentially what I want is I want to know how many of each product by lot I have in stock. So at this point, I select any field from my table. I click on insert pivot table. Then I click OK. And then I'm going to come in here and put item, drag that down into rows. Again, I clicked on item and I dragged it down into rows. Then I'm going to click on lot number, drag that down into rows. So again, we picked lot number and we put it right under item. And then I'm going to go to quantity and I'm going to click and drag that down into values. Okay. So once I have this organized like this, you're going to see every item, the total that I have. So this is 1860 for the 32 ounce and 3775 for the 64 ounce. Let me go back into QuickBooks and let's go to our inventory valuation report just to make sure that that matches. And there it is, 1860 and 3775. And we got the same totals here, but now I have it grouped by item and I have each of the quantities in stock by lot. So I can just summarize them like this and I will get my subtotal or my total actually. And then I can expand each row and get the subtotals per batch, per lot, or per expiration date. I'm gonna go ahead and click X out of that. For some of you, don't have time to export the report and finagle with Excel and pivot tables. There's an application that I use called Fin Genie Professional. It's not cheap, it's about $1,000, but it's a custom reporting tool that really allows you to do all those crazy things with pivot tables and Excel export in a few clicks. So I'm going to show you how quickly it is with this app. So when I click on this button here that says Access Query Builder, it gives me a list of all the reports that are built in. I go down to item and inventory queries. I pick inventory sites and lots, and then I'm going to pick on inventory lots in stock calculated. Okay, so inside the on hand menu, there's some inventory on hand reports, but if you're looking for the lots, it's going to be inside inventory sites and lots. So you click right there where it says lots in stock. You pick whatever date range you want to pick. Let me just send this a couple of years into the future. And then I'm going to click on table. And then once the report loads, you're basically going to have a table that's going to show you all of your item names over here. You're going to see the original bill, where it came from. So this is basically a lot number analysis and the original purchase date. You're going to have here the lot number or the expiration date, the original quantity that was purchased, and the number remaining after subtracting all the invoices that were reducing the amount of inventory for that lot. Now I can take this entire field here and go to insert pivot table, and I can make sure that this table is selected correctly. Let me select the table again and hit enter, and then I'll click on OK, and I'm going to go into lot number, bring that down into rows, item full name, bring that down into rows, and then quantity remaining, bring it down into value. So this amount of inventory I have in stock is the exact same exercise, but instead of having to export from Excel each time, this little program called Fin Genie will actually extract the data from QuickBooks, even if QuickBooks isn't open, and can help you produce those reports. Anyway, so at the end of the day, to answer that question, QuickBooks does not manage expiration dates. There's no built-in function, but if you do it through lot numbers and do it the way I mentioned, you should be okay. And there you go.